Climate change over Spain. Spain is located in southern Europe and is broken into 3 different climate zones. The CSA climate is a warm, temperate Mediterranean climate with warm, dry summers and moderate wet winters. The hottest it gets in this climate is about 22°C or 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The northwest coastal areas have a CSB climate. The CSB climate is a warm, wet climate with wet winters. And the last climate zone is the CFB climate, which is like the CSA climate, but it is wetter year-round. There is evidence of climate change in Spain. The average temperature in the past 100 years has gone up more in Spain than the rest of the European countries. It has increased almost up to 2°C or 4 degrees Fahrenheit. The average rainfall over Spain ranges greatly. The rainfall ranges between 6 to 100 inches. Also, there has been a reduction of 23% of rainfall in the northern and southern parts of Spain in the past 30 years. The Pyrenees glaciers is one of the most common things that people point out. The Pyrenees is a mountain range that forms a border between France and Spain, and it has lost almost 90% of its glaciers and is predicted to disappear in the next few decades. There was a group of researchers and scientists that came up with a model that will take the past 10,000 years of pollen records and build a picture of the vegetation in the region of Spain. They used this model to predict the future, to see what would happen if the world keeps ignoring climate change and if we followed the business as usual scenario. These 3 pictures are kind of hard to look at, but pretty much what it's showing is what you would expect Spain to look like if they followed these certain scenarios. In the worst case scenario, you can see that most of southern Spain will become desert. The worst case scenario is pretty much if we follow the business as usual scenario. The best case scenario is if we try to keep annual average global temperature under 1.5°C in the next 30 years. The Spanish government has said that they will try to cut greenhouse emissions by 20% below 1990 levels by 2030. This comes out to be about 1/3 of Spain's current emissions. Currently, 78% of Spain's CO2 emissions come from the production of energy. And of course, this is their main focus on reducing greenhouse gas emissions. However, in 2017, a document that was sent to the European Commission stated that the previous Popular Party administration did not expect Spain's emissions to go down by 2030. However, since then, they did get a new socialist minister, Teresa Ribera. She pledged that she would actually try to work towards this goal of reducing Spain's greenhouse emissions by 20%. However, right now, I'm not sure if this is actually going to happen because last year, Spain was in a drought that reduced the supply of hydroelectricity, which increased their level of CO2 because they had to burn more coal in order to get more energy for their citizens. And overall, it just kind of seems like Spain is trying to move towards cleaner production of energy, which totally makes sense because most of their CO2 comes from energy. For the most part, the culture and the citizens of Spain don't really seem to be too much aware of climate change. So I'm not sure if Spain actually will be able to cut greenhouse emissions by 20% by 2030, but we can hope. These are the websites that I use to help me put together this presentation.